Well, Feather's inside the house, and she's meeting everybody. Hi? See? Hey, don't hide, don't hiss. Goldie's okay, and they all met her, so she just ran in the house. So before I get on with this video, got the big water trough here. Right? Hey, you're making noises a little bit. Rocky is. Putin was fine. Rocky always makes noises. Alright, you gonna go outside? Come here. Come here, boo-boo. Come here. Oh. Yeah. Well, she's helping me out with the car, so you know what? I knew this was going to be a bunch of little bullshit with just changing out an intake manifold, and I wasn't sure because I says, let me get the most tame intake manifold, which is the Edelbrock Performer 2701, which is the square bore pattern for the Holly, because I figured I'd put the Holly 2-barrel on it. And actually, if I would have known I had to go to, well, could get a little more skinnier air cleaner, might look at that. But with this adapter, it doesn't even close the hood. The 4-barrel to 2-barrel adapter does not close it won't close the hood, even with this Performer intake manifold. The RPM manifold, the air gap, it's even higher. I knew that wouldn't work. And I had this spacer on it. I thought I had a 2-inch spacer on there before, and it closed with the stock manifold and the adapter. And that's why I was like freaking nut. Really, it closed the hood. It did close the hood with that, just enough room with that air cleaner. With that, I thought it was a 2-inch spacer I had on there. I was doing it off of memory. It was a 1-inch spacer. And even with that adapter, but that was on the stock Rochester 2-barrel manifold. This manifold is higher, and this adapter from the 4-barrel to the 2-barrel is higher than the other adapter from the Rochester 2-barrel to Holly 2-barrel. Now with this, even with this half-inch thing, forget it. But even when you take, I thought it would close with this half-inch thing out of there, and I was thinking it's going to be pretty close. Nope. Because when I close the hood, see those 2 indentations right there? Right here? That's the wing nut. Now, I could modify the air cleaner, but you know, if I get a skinnier air cleaner, even if it's a K&N, that's not going to be such an ideal situation. So you're going to have less airflow. So I'm probably going to get a 4-barrel Holly. 600 CFM, this is a 500 2-barrel. It'll probably be a little bit better economy, because when the primaries are just running, the primaries are going to be, well, it's going to be not that much different, but it's probably going to have a little more power when you need it, only when you need it. So it's amazing. Even the Performer manifold doesn't fit the stock freaking hoods that easily. That's why. And you know, there's a lot of little bullshit. I mean, I've not really been working on this thing, but I knew there was going to be problems. They also made from before, when I had this bracket on there, I made this when I had this thermal spacer. I had this bracket on here, this bracket, which raises up the linkage a little higher because it comes in straight off into here, which means it's long enough, because that's a stock linkage. I don't have an aftermarket adjustable linkage. So, you know, if you don't do something like that, you're going to have to change your linkage to something adjustable, or put some kind of extension thing on there, or cobble something up. And another thing I was pissed off at is I went over to Lowe's. This is just a standard 3/8 national pipe thread fitting, and I could put a pipe for the PCV valve, the regular hose, and bend it, but I'd rather have a 90 degree. They didn't have a 90 degree. I'm like, you know, it's just a freaking it's picayune bullshit, but stock is a lot easier. If you got all the parts for stock, That's why I always say, you know, if you really, you know, this is going to be good though. I'm not freaking complaining about it, but this is what I've known this for millions of years, because when I used to do this stuff all the time, you know, working with my friends and all this kind of shit, and I used to tune up cars and put parts on cars and stuff for money, I found out the more you deviate from stock, it's the most trivial, minute BS things that just add up to more money. And cars can nickel dime you to death. That's why if you want to go fast, you're better off just getting a big block that's pretty damn tame and stock, and it's got a lot of torque, and you're freaking cool. But I'm going to be very happy with this though, because I think, you know, I don't think the manifold is going to be, well, the manifold is probably going to do a little bit. The cam being back in spec is going to do a lot. And probably a new Holley, even though I changed the accelerator pump in this and the, what do you call that thing? The vacuum valve, whatever the hell that is. I changed that thing. You know, a new carb is probably going to be a lot better. So that's the way we're going to roll. And it should be the same diameter on the top, so this air cleaner will fit. So when I take this off, this adapter plate, it's going to bring that down about 1 inch. And then from here, that'll definitely give me enough room. Definitely. But that manifold is despite it not being a radical manifold, it's like from idle to 5,500 RPMs. It's definitely a lot higher than a stock Rochester 2-barrel manifold. So you can't run adapters. You could probably get away with, I think I can run this. Yeah. I think I could run this spacer though. I think I could run that and it'll fit. Because when I close the hood, I get it closed all the way before it starts hitting. And that would probably give me maybe about that much room with, if I install that too. But then again, I might not use it because let's see how it works out. I don't know. I might use it. If there's enough room, I'm going to use that sucker. That'll be all right. But that's, you know, that's the kind of bullshit you run into, man. It's just picayune stupid stuff, man. So at the end of this video, I actually filmed it earlier. Last night, I was looking for that little gray cat, her little gray kitten, and you know, I found her. And I don't see the little black one, but I saw the little black one this morning. So all three of them are fine. And she's been walking in the house lately. I was like, damn, what am I going to do? Have 8 cats now? Holy shit. But I'm glad, I'm kind of glad I'm doing this. Because I actually did throw a lot of money in parts into this car for the first, I'd say about 4 years I had it. I was changing out, I put a different transmission in it. I changed the whole rear end out, put the posi in it. It's got the new ring gears and Moser Engineering axles. I changed all the bushings, including the lower trunk control arm bushings, which were probably the worst things I ever had to freaking take out. New calibers, new brakes all the way through, every new front end part. I don't know, there's just I never really did nothing to the engine though, except for I think the alternator. That was the only thing, and hoses and belts, because the engine was, you know, good back then. That was like 25 years ago. So, you know, doing this isn't such a bad thing, because if I ever do put a 350 on it, having a 600 CFM Holley 4-barrel would be perfect. Oh, here's a little white one. See, I'll call that one Pause. And the gray one, it looks like Boots. I'm going to call that one Boots 2. And the old black one, I'm going to call Onyx. This one's Feather. See, she's making mommy noises to it. Oh, there's the gray one again. Now, I don't know where the hell the black one is. You see, he's usually the one I always see. There's the gray one right behind mommy, see? Or mostly gray. Kind of like dark gray. I don't know where the old black one is, but I saw that one. I did see that one this morning. See how they are? They just, you know, I worry too much about these little critters. But yeah, it's like, you know, it doesn't bother me. But if you were a guy that had to get this done, like, say for instance, I'm going to plan on doing this over the weekend. You'll find out, and you need the car for Monday. You'll find out this could be a pain in the ass. That's why you want to stick with stock. You know, if you're just driving it all the time. I'm not using this all the time. I'm actually using that Suzuki SJ413. That's like a Samurai. I use that I actually do use this every day when it was, yeah, the hood. You know, I know the Edelbrock RPM air gap, which is, I almost got that one because it's good for, the air gap is, there's a gap between, you know, the manifold and the carburetor is like an airspace underneath there, which really keeps the carburetor cooler. But that's not really the best situation if you're like trying to warm the car up in the wintertime. This is the best one for keeping it stock, as close to stock as possible. But you will have hood clearance issues with this bullshit thing too. If you're running an adapter plate. No adapter plate, it's going to be a little higher, but you'll still be able to make it with a 2-inch air cleaner. I don't think there's an air cleaner of this size that's a little skinnier than that. But like I said, then it cuts down on your airflow, even though it's a K&N. So screw that shit. I'm just going to go with the 4-barrel Holley. And I probably can run this. I could probably run this sucker. So, because it's only a 1/2 inch. How much is that going to give me? Yeah, that's about half that, so that'll probably give me almost the thickness of this clearance between that and the hood, which is just enough. It's probably maybe about that much, but that's just enough, even with the engine tilting. So, I mean, I'm just telling you, man. If you're trying to do this over the weekend, and it's like, you know, I'm going to change, you know, be prepared for freaking tiny bunch of little bullshit. Like I said, I'm not really trying to get this done quick. I was working on other stuff, you know. So, and actually, if I got a 350 for this, these exhaust manifolds will not bolt up to it because, well, not only is it a 305 exhaust Y pipe, but the bolt pattern on the exhaust manifold is different. So if I ever got a 350, it would be probably shorty headers and whatever. So you see how it all adds up. So I just do a little thing at a time. I'm going to order the carb right now though, just a Holley, and this, you know, Holley 600 CFM, and this one's basically a Holley. It's a Barry Grand Demon. Like I said, I put the, what do you call that damn thing? Power valve. I put the power valve in it. It only has one power valve. I changed that, and I changed the accelerator pump. And the carb is fine. But it's going to get a new one. Anyway. And a Holley, you know, if I would have got that in the first place, you know, the adapter, these adapters were cheap. I think I got that was only like 15, under 20 bucks. I think that adapter was maybe $22 or something like that. They're not that much money. The carb is $306 delivered, I think. So, you know, and you never know. I might have a leak. I don't think I did anything wrong. I don't think I have a leak. But if I have a leak, then I'll have to pull it all apart and do it all over again. I don't think I do, though. I put, what do you call it? The right stuff, a slight coating of that under the intake, under the valve cover gasket. I used the RTV on both sides of the gasket where the water things are. 1, 2, 3 on each side. 1/4 inch thick of RTV over here. I don't think it's going to leak. You know, I really nitpicked the shit out of it, but I was thinking there's going to be something I'm going to run into. That's why I was not in a hurry to get aggravated. I'm not aggravated because I'm not in a hurry. But like I said, if you were just thinking, oh, I'm going to put this Manatech manifold on and swap this out over the weekend, and I'm going to use the car Monday, you'll be like, yeah, I guess you could use it. You'll take the car and you'll not have the hood closed all the way, and you'll have a metal strap or some crap like that, or a piece of chain or a cable holding the hood so it doesn't fly up in your face, and you can still use the car. And you might have some zip ties holding your linkage on or something for your throttle because it didn't quite reach it or something, But that's what happens, man. Anyway, I'll show you the little catch again on the end of this thing. But that's what I said, man. Anytime you do one little thing, it's one other little thing, and one other little thing, and one other little thing. And that is the other reason why, even like with the four-wheel drives, Jeep is just empty all my pockets. Remember heard that one? Now, Suzuki owners are pretty much cheap Jeep owners. That's like me, right? But if you keep your Jeep basically stock, and you only say, oh, you upgrade the tires a little bit, maybe one size over, and you put a lunchbox locker in the rear, and that's all you ever do, you're not going to be paying that much money. You do a suspension lift, oh, you got to change your geometry and your steering, and you got to change the geometry of your drivetrain. And then all of a sudden, when you upgrade all the suspension and the tires, you find out, well, the transfer case is the next weak link, and blah, 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 and you know what I mean. So, I am very much a practical person, so. But I'm glad I got this because the Chevy, if I ever get rid of one of my cars, I might get a Chevy pickup. An older one, like a 72 or something, or pre-75. And a lot of this stuff that I got here, you can work with that, like the Demon Carb and the Spacer and all that bullshit, especially with a truck, plenty of room under that hood. So, anyway, just for to tell you this, I'm not bitching about this, and it's not like it's a major deal at all, but, when they show you on these YouTube videos, like, hey, just do this, and blah, 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 and here it is, and magic, blah, 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 the simplest little bullshit can often take you more time as soon as you deviate from stock. Man, I am so used to this big sales pitch bullshit with freaking, buy this, upgrade that, do this, right? That's why you're, a 350 horsepower big block that's like over 400 cubic inches, like a 427, 454, 429, 428, 440 or something like that, or 455, and it'd say it's only like 350, 360 horsepower rated from the factory. That thing's got gobs of torque. Might be a heavy engine, but it's going to pull that car right from the standstill on the street, and it's going to be able to tow anything with that thing, Small blocks are great because they're simple, but if you want to make a lot of horsepower out of them, you can do that. But if you're making a lot of horsepower out of them and you're driving down the street, the horsepower is going to be usually after 3,500 RPM, so you're going to have to gear it for accordingly, because it'll be a dog at freaking 1,500 RPMs, even if it's built to 400 horsepower. Down the low RPMs, it's going to be sit. But then, when you do all that stuff, you got this really low vacuum, you got harder starting when the weather is like 0 degrees Fahrenheit and stuff like that. It's a lot of bullshit that you get involved in. And if you just have a plain old big block that's real stock, hey, that thing will start up. Police cars used to be the old 440 Chryslers, man. Those things will start up below zero, no problem, man. As long as you got them tuned up right. So, I like the small block, and it's a lot more economical, and it's got adequate power, but if you really want to get a lot of horsepower, and this is, real minor stuff I'm doing here, but if you want to get a lot of horsepower out of it, it's like, go for the big block. There's the gray one. I don't know where the black one is now, but I did see that one this morning, so it's weird how they go in pairs. before it was the black one and onyx and pause, or anyway. But I'm happy I'm doing this, to tell you the truth. I really am. I'm just warning people that, from experience, man, this slight little bullshit upgrades can take a lot more time than you think. A lot more bullshit. And that, to me, is where there's a lot of beauty in the stock everything. And if you want to go fast and you want to keep it stock, cubic inches. That's the answer. There's the gray one, right there. See? That's the one I didn't see last night. So, you were hiding from me, weren't you? There's a little white paws. I'll probably call this one Boots 2. Right?